Hello everybody and welcome to episode 95 of Glass to the Wall. Today we have Luke Hemming with us.
Hello.
Sandy Wilson.
Hey.
They are our social media managers at Cubed3. And we've got Mike McCann.
Hello.
Hi Mike. Mike's one of our key contributors to the site. And then there's me, the host, Neil Flynn. Now today we've got a packed show for you and we're going to be talking about Black Friday deals and anyone who's picked up any Black Friday deals at all. We're going to talk about the PS5 scalper situation and all those evil people getting PlayStation 5s before everybody else and then selling them on. And then we're going to talk about Animal Crossing as well. So any Animal Crossing fans out there, do please stay tuned. But first, we are going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. The release is tantalizingly close now. So we've got 2 more weeks before that December 10th release date. We have that date emblazoned in very large characters in official corporate documents. And someone out there actually even has a copy, as we've seen some leaked footage already across the internet. But guys, which one of you, or if any or all of you, who's in on day one?
Yeah, got my pre-order down.
Yep, me also. Yeah, I'm quite hyped.
Sandy, I'm guessing that's a no.
I'm not in day one, but I am very interested.
Nice. Well, I am not either. I'm waiting to see a little bit more about the game. I have to admit, I have to take a bit of a back seat on this topic because I don't know too much about Cyberpunk. And while I've seen some of the trailers and stuff, I've not really kind of gone deep down into some of the other things on the game. So, Luke, is it worth the wait for you? Obviously, you and Mike have you've gone in. You're going to get it day one. Has it been worth the wait? It's been delayed for over a year now and given multiple dates. So, what do you think?
At the start, I think I wasn't as excited. I think Mike was the big pusher for me, like the same as he was with The Witcher, which was also a big recommendation from him. The whole idea of this sci-fi, cyberpunky world really, really appeals to me, and I think they've done wonders with the marketing. I really, really pushed it for me. I was on the fence, but the more that I watched, the hype has just got bigger and bigger, and I think it could potentially be one of the best games of the year, easily.
Yeah, it's probably the last biggest game to come out this year. Yeah, I think. Yeah. A lot of the big guns have all sort of fired now, and we're just waiting on Cyberpunk, which not many too many big AAA games come out in December. Not that many I can really remember of. Mike, obviously for you, so you're the one who recommended it to Luke. You've obviously been on this since day one. You're going to get it day one. What do you reckon to this wait? Is it going to be worth the wait?
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to everything they've shown up until this time. Has looked really good. I'm not really in the camp where it's going to be the be all and end all. I'm expecting it to just be a really good RPG. Hopefully, with good writing, good scenarios, good concepts. I love the setting as well. Like I love cyberpunk settings, like the Blade Runner-esque aesthetics and the future kind of ideas about the future and where stuff's going to go and those kind of concepts. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But whether it can live up to the hype is going to be a big question because, I mean, it's not a very controversial take, but I think The Witcher 3 probably was one of my top games of the last decade, and when you have a game like that, I often think that it's very much it's catching lightning in a bottle, and can you do that twice? You know what I mean? It's the teams shift around, everything changes. It'll be exciting to see. In terms of the delay as well, just to quickly say, it sucks for having a delay, but I'm happy if that makes the game better ultimately, as well.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to throw that to you as well, Luke. In terms of the sort of crunch time that we've heard from CD Projekt Red, it's been well documented, but I don't really want to dwell on it. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. But do you think this crunch time is going to affect the quality? Because we still hear of developers talking about crunch, not necessarily specifically about Cyberpunk 2077, but we know that a lot of these developers have been working long and hard, and this year has probably been quite tumultuous for them. Do you think it's going to affect the quality overall? Do you think that it's has?
I'm really hoping that it's not, and I'm hoping that this crunch time was to put the finishing touches on some graphical aspects, maybe just iron out some bugs. I'd really like to think that the meat was already on the bones, and what we're going to get will be the game we expect. I'm with Mike as well in that I don't think it'll be the be all and end all, the greatest game ever made, but these delays are certainly building the hype for me, and I'm really impressed by the way that even though those delays were happening, they've been releasing the Night City Wire YouTube episodes just to keep the hype train rolling, so to speak. That sounds ridiculous, but yeah, that. But yeah, I think the game was already there, and I'm hoping that these initial things were just to get rid of those last few bugs. But story, gameplay was already set in stone. It will be what we expect.
Yeah. No, this is not the typical Bandai Namco published game that you'd expect to see, really. I have to admit, I can't think of a sort of open world game like this where I've seen Bandai Namco publish before. Sandy, in terms for yourself, is there something that's putting you off about the game? Is there something that there's a reason why you're holding on?
I mean, most of the reason is I'm either hoping to upgrade my PC at some point or get my hands on a next-gen console, which I think would... I don't know, I feel like the experience is going to be a bit more complete feeling, maybe a bit smoother, maybe a bit prettier. I mean, obviously, there's nothing to prove that's the case, but that's the feeling that I'm getting. I mean, I love things like Ghost in the Shell, so I'm actually really interested in the world they're creating. I think once I hear more about that, I'll probably be more on board.
Yeah. Luke, for yourself, what system are you going to get it for? Because obviously you've got both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I've got the PS4 pre-ordered, and we've got that day one upgrade. But I know that in a couple of months they've said that they will have a specific PS5 whole upgrade system, and also for the Xbox Series X as well. But they're giving us a little something at the start just to make it that little bit prettier. But at the time, I think I've had it pre-ordered that long that having a PS5 wasn't something that was a guarantee to begin with.
Well, I mean, the one other thing about a guarantee, do you think it's actually going to meet this date? Do you think it's too late to cancel it? I mean, they did kind of cancel it or delay it very close to its initial, well, its second release date. I think it was meant to come out again in like March, wasn't it? And then they moved it very, very short. Yeah. Well, you know, like you have, like we've mentioned before here, there is a retail copy somewhere. Someone's obviously leaking the game somehow. So surely it's not going to be delayed. Mike, do you reckon there's a delay likely here?
It would be flabbergasting if it got delayed again. I mean, you know, it must be, as much as the hard work on it, it must be like really hard for the team when they know it's going to get delayed again and again.
Yeah.
But they'd have to have a very good excuse. I mean, there would be, you know, the gaming community is not known for being the most measured group of people. So I think if it got delayed again, the repercussions would be insane.
Would you say you're still hyped for it? Has this delay taken its toll on the way that, you know, you felt about the game?
No, I think like Luke said, because they've kind of kept a steady stream of the Night City Wires, it has kind of kept my hype levels up, you know, little interviews with Keanu Reeves and things like that, and it's, you know, it's looking cool, the little tidbits that they're giving. And I'm hope they also come across they are holding stuff back as well, so yeah,
it's true. The thing is about fans, they've obviously hyped it up. We've heard, and we talked about a couple of weeks ago in terms of the death threats that people are sending, so the hype is still there, but I think there's a lot of frustration as well. Can you remember a time when a game has caused this much craziness, Luke, in terms of the way that fans have reacted to negatively, obviously, to delays and things like that?
I can't think of any that has caused this much anger. I'm not sure maybe if social media back then was not as prevalent. I certainly think games have warranted this much hype. There's always the hype for a new Final Fantasy. I remember massive hype for Metal Gear Solid 2. But nothing.
What about Kingdom Hearts, Luke?
Oh, Kingdom Hearts is like, you know, 15 years of hype. Like the hype was long dead, apart from me and like 3 girls who play Kingdom Hearts and a couple of my mates, and that was it. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid I think was the big one I remember, but nothing to cause this much anger and frustration. People should be excited about games. They shouldn't be angry that they're not coming. You know.
The only time I can really think about it is the lack of a Nintendo Direct, and actually, it seems that people have actually calmed down about that now. I think I haven't heard people constantly asking for Direct every day. I think they know that they've got their 2020 games now, and I think, you know, as December crawls around and January crawls around, you're going to get loads of people saying, "Where's a Nintendo Direct?" And people get crazy about that, but I can't think of a specific game. Sandy, do you think of anything in your recollection? People have gone crazy about a game, so much so that they're willing to hurt the developers and threaten them and things like this. You know, it's expectations on a game, I guess.
I mean, not really, not to this extent. The only one that really comes to mind is not so much people's anger at delays, but just deflation after the game releases, which was Final Fantasy 15. You know, 10 years of waiting and then it's okay.
Yeah.
Not this mind-blowing experience.
Well, in terms of Cyberpunk, then, it's very close. Luke, Mike, what's the date of the release? That's planned release. What's the scheduled date? Do you know?
10th, isn't it? 10th of December.
December 10th, yeah.
So not too long now. Smash Brothers Ultimate came out in December. I remember that came out around that time in December as well, and that's obviously sold very well. So I think now that people have got their next-gen consoles in their hands, they might be willing to bite. But speaking of getting things into their hands, everyone's been out shopping. So not really gone out, but everyone's been out shopping online, trying to scoop up some Black Friday deals. Now, did anyone pick up anything in a Black Friday sale over the last weekend or so? Sandy, I see you nodding. Go on then. Let's reel off what you might have.
So it's a quite modest for me. Usually I go in quite heavy with like sales and things, but this year I picked up Titanfall 2, which was down to like £3 or something on Xbox, and I was like, can't turn that down. And the other, it's only 2, Gears of War 5 from Game, which was down to £8, which can't turn that down either. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
It's free on Game Pass.
I know, but my Game Pass runs out next month.
Okay. No, fair enough.
How much did you pay for
it? For Gears?
£8, right?
Yeah, £8.
How much is Game Pass?
Yes, but Game Pass doesn't go on my shelf.
Mike, did you happen to scoop up any deals or see anything that you were really tempted by?
I did actually. I didn't think I was going to buy anything, so I'm on quite a strict budget at the moment. But the one thing I was eyeing up, I was looking at the Xbox Series X controllers because they were like £10 off, and I kind of I've been gaming on my PC a lot at the moment, so I was just thinking like I could just have a little taste of next gen with that. But I resisted the urge to buy the Xbox Series X controller, and instead I bought the Monkey Island collection on Steam, which was like £4 for like all of the classic Monkey Island games, which is amazing. I don't have it on Steam. Like I've bought them multiple times, but I don't know if it's just because we were talking about it a few weeks ago, but I was just like, I love those games. Maybe I'm ready to replay them again. So I've got them on my library account ready to go.
So you were going to say that you were on a tight budget then, and you bought the massive collectors.
Yeah, got an Elite.
Yeah, and Luke, and what did you pick up? Anything exciting?
Tony Hawk's.
Tony Hawk's.
Tony Hawk's on the PlayStation Store.
Go and check out my brilliant review of Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remastered.
It was the only reason I bought it, Neil.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Small plug. No, I think it's an absolutely fantastic game. We've got more to talk about Tony Hawk's actually in the coming weeks, and we'll explain why. But no, Tony Hawk's I think is probably up there as one of my favorite remasters of all time. I think after the diabolical sort of appearance of Tony Hawk's 5, it's great to see the Hawkman back on top. I thought, because we knew that when Tony Hawk initially signed that deal with Activision back in the 90s, that they were going to have like a 15-year deal or something, and they didn't really take advantage of it. It was like one of the biggest deals ever signed to a person at the time, and then the series has faded away. We had an annual sort of release all the way up until about 2008. I think after Downhill Jam, ironically named, it went quiet, and then you had Tony Hawk's Ride and Tony Hawk's 5, and then I think the series has disappeared really for a while. And so I'm so glad that it's come back, because if we can get a 3 and 4 remaster next year, amazing.
Back.
Yeah.
Steelbook.
I haven't got it yet, but I'm all in on the return of Tony Hawk's as well, and I can't wait to play that. I'm going to get that first opportunity again.
It's been a long time looking at it, eyeing it up, waiting to pull the trigger on it, but now is the time, and I don't regret it at all. It is fantastic.
Well, I've got a bit of an issue, guys, and I'm a bit of a shopaholic. Lockdown has turned me into this hermit person who just gets things sent to them every day. It's not actually in here, but I bought a hard drive for, ironically, the Xbox One. I wasn't going to invest in the SSD just yet. I think it's too expensive, £210 or whatever it is for a 1 terabyte hard drive, which obviously then comes down to about 800 gigabyte. So instead, what I've done, I bought a 4 terabyte Seagate hard drive. It's the official Xbox One hard drive for £80 off Amazon. It comes with 2 months of Game Pass as well. And what I'm going to do is just keep swapping the games back and forward between my hard drive and the SSD. I did it today. A game at about 50 gigabyte takes about 10 minutes. So it's not too bad. I think once you decided that you're playing a game or two, you can just swap them in and out, and it doesn't really take too long. So I prefer to do it this way. Obviously, you need to have any Xbox Series S or X games installed on your internal SSD. So this might not be a long-term solution. You can, unlike the PS5, you can move your Xbox Series X and S games to an external hard drive. You just can't play them off the hard drive. You can play any backwards compatible games, though, in terms of the Xbox 360, and Xbox One games from the hard drive. You just won't necessarily see the benefits. And then I also picked up this, very much on a whim. Picked up Dreams for
what
PS4.
game?
Come on.
That's very much thanks to John Cartwright over at Nintendo Life, who he keeps sharing videos, and I saw a video of a Dreams creation, and it just made me get it. And it was, I think, £12 in August. So
It's an underrated gem, that game.
Yeah. I haven't really picked up too many other things. With the sales going on throughout the year, whether it be Easter, bank holiday, or just in general, I wonder if the Black Friday sales strategy is still worth investing in. I mean, Luke, yourself, you obviously held on for Tony Hawk's there, but throughout the year, obviously, there are so many sales. Do you end up just feel like you're picking up games throughout the year?
I'd say I pick something up every 2 months minimum. I don't, like you said, I don't subscribe to the Black Friday idea anymore, because these things are happening every couple of weeks. Tony Hawk's Black Friday comes very close to my birthday, so like that was that little extra incentive. Had a bit of money for my birthday, invested in it, but mostly I'll just pick something up on a whim every couple of months. I don't really think about the sales anymore.
Yeah. It's actually funny, I just forgot to mention, I also just picked up Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD collection, as you were talking about Metal Gear. That was £7 online. I figured I had to do it. It's just funny because I don't often troll the Microsoft store. I have to admit, as a Game Pass user, I don't actually go onto the store to look at their sales. But I do it with the Switch. Sandy, do you feel like Nintendo don't obviously go in deep on sales, do they? It's very rare that you see retail games dropping half price or anything like that. What do you think this could be? And when do you decide to dip?
That is a very complicated question. I feel like Nintendo knows that people will pay top dollar for their first party stuff, so they don't need to reduce it for sales. I mean, quite nicely in the Black Friday sale, there were a couple of first party games. I think there was like Link's Awakening and stuff was down. But yeah, I'm not too sure how to answer that, other than maybe Nintendo just knows it doesn't really need a sales strategy. It doesn't need to go not 50% off that to make people buy it.
I genuinely think that the Switch has probably been more generous in terms of sales. I now and again see games at 33% off. It's personally, I think their digital prices are too high in the first place. I think most of them are at £60. We know that you can find them at retail probably at 50, maybe 40. So by the time they knock 33% off, it just brings it down to the price that you could probably find it at on some online websites. When was the last time you bought a Nintendo game? Did you pay full price for it? Probably Super Mario 3D All Stars, right? Hyrule Warriors.
I've not actually bought a first-party Nintendo game for a while, but I did get All Stars for my birthday, and that was definitely a full-price game from Nintendo's own store.
Well, I mean, the other danger is that they could just be releasing games at 6-month intervals now, and you just, I was going to take it off this. And that's a great way to keep prices high. Mike, for you, when it comes to buying games, whether they're digitally or physically, obviously there are points throughout the year where these things do go on sale. Is there something that do you end up waiting for Black Friday now, or do you just pick it up when you see it that it's cheap?
Yeah, I do keep an eye on the prices. Not necessarily Black Friday, and I feel like the last few years Black Friday started becoming a bit of a three-headed monster, like all by itself. You know what I mean? And I feel like people are starting to react to that a little bit because it doesn't seem to be quite the event that it used to be anyway, in terms of price reduction. But like Tony Hawk's is a prime example for that. Like I really want to get that, and I really wanted it on day one, but it is one of those games that I am waiting for it to come down in price, and as soon as it hits a threshold, I'll buy it.
$11.99.
$11.99 is the sweet spot.
Steelbook.
How much did you pay for Tony Hawk's, Luke?
I think it was 25. I think on the store. It wasn't a massive discount, but with that extra incentive of having a bit of birthday money behind, it came at just the right time, I think.
This time next year, then, Mike, $11.99.
It should have been $25.99 anyway.
Yeah. Well, instead of being $25.99 or $11.99, what about $1,099 instead? Because that's the price of a going PS5 these days. Thanks very much to some scalpers out there. Some of them picking them up probably through Black Friday, or just when they've gone up on retail sales. But have you guys seen the latest PS5 scalping situation?
Yes.
Indeed.
Well, I'm going to read out a little statement here. A scalper group that targeted the PlayStation 5 console release has given a statement defending their actions of selling almost 3,500 units for profit. The group, who are UK-based Crep Chief Notify, has been running Facebook ads to enlist as many people as possible. The ads promised an instant £100 plus profit for people willing to buy and resell the console. In the full statement, Crep Chief Notify, I think I'm saying this correctly, clarified that they had not used bots, but were prepared and had our in-house monitors ready. The company were also able to secure 3,470 units in total and are aiming for £350,000 in profit. Focusing on release day, the group said in their statement, the day came and members had feasted 2,472 consoles secured on the day, not with the bots as the media is portraying. They were all manual. They said, sure, we have the advantage with our knowledge and monitors, but that's just being prepared. Fail to prepare, prepared to fail. Or fail to prepare, prepared to fail. So lots of the community have been furloughed, made redundant, or at some form of disadvantage due to the current 2020 situation. These people have managed to cover their bills, put food on the table, and supply Christmas presents to their children. It may be unfortunate that a child won't wake up to a PS5 this Christmas, but another child may have woken up to nothing. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is just capitalism at its best? I think we briefly talked about this last week, but is it fair? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Luke,
I've just had a look. That is 42 copies of Tony Hawk. I've just worked that out. So,
yeah.
No, it's awful. I can sit back with this in the knowledge that I've got my PS5. So like, no.
Yeah.
But I do understand that the way I look at it, they spent that £450 with the intention of making a profit because they couldn't put food on the table. They couldn't supply their kids with a good Christmas. If my parents gave me a £450 Christmas present, then I think I would have done okay. I think that would have covered Christmas meals, bills, and gifts for my children. It's just greed, I think.
Yeah. Sandy, your thoughts on the fairness, I guess, of the fact that they've been able to score these 3,500 units. Is it fair that one group can do this and that they're encouraging others to help them with it?
No, not really. I mean, I think it's fair that they clearly put in the time and effort to purchase all of these PlayStations. But it's not, it's not a good practice. It's not practice that should be being recruited for or things like that. If anything, it should be something that's legally prevented by law.
Now, VGC have obviously done their piece on this as well, and they reported their news. So thanks to VGC as well for covering this. They're not the only ones. Obviously, CEX, essentially a UK retailer, a buyer and reseller of stuff, they're offering £150 profit. So I don't know why anyone would actually do it this way. But, you know, unless the price has changed, I'm fairly certain there's £150 profit to be made at CEX. Obviously, those prices fluctuate. But Mike, what do you reckon? Would you get it on the scalping business? It's not unfair, is it? Or is it?
Well, it's sadly the nature of capitalism, isn't it? It's the supply and demand. Sony obviously haven't had enough supply for the Christmas season, and then there's not enough sort of systems in place to counteract people taking advantage.
So do you think they're telling the truth? Do you think they use bots or?
Oh, they definitely use bots. If the opportunity's there, if the possibility's there, people will take it. You know.
Why take the risk that they might not get them, isn't it?
Yeah. But it sucks. It absolutely sucks.
Yeah, I'm kind of in Luke's boat really, because I've got one as well. So like, no. But at the same time, no, it is really annoying. I always thought this was going to be the case. I told all my friends when that PlayStation 5 showcase went up, if you're not there ready with your card, you're not getting one. You don't come crying to me that you can't get one. Now that's a different situation, because I think people who want it day one, yeah, we knew that was going to happen. Most of us knew that was going to happen. It's just case in point, especially with this year, knowing that production is a bit more constrained. But there comes a point where, like you say, if you're getting a £450 Christmas present, I'm sure that kid's going to get something else instead that they could easily do. And for the people who are selling them and making the profit,
42 copies of Tony Hawk's they could be sitting in.
Yeah, it's for the people that are making a profit, £100, is it really? I think, is it really worth the effort? But I don't know.
If what they're saying that people are struggling with covering their bills, putting food on the table, is that £100 really sorting out those problems?
Yeah, but also if people are struggling with money like that, why would you spend $450 on a console to then sell for £100? It's not a lot of gain.
Profit. Yeah, you've obviously got to make money in the first place to get involved, but it just does feel like a lot of effort.
Of that, though, as well. There's no guarantee you're going to resell it.
But there's certainly a guarantee you could have kept your electric going for another month. It was £450.
Yeah. It is interesting. I actually I don't really lay the blame at Sony or Microsoft for the console output that they've made. I think Sony and Microsoft would have made as many as they humanly could make. I just don't think that they could make any more. They know that if they did, they could sell. They don't want the scalpers essentially to profiteer from this, because essentially it's a bit of a bad PR thing for them. So I do think that Microsoft and Sony probably having conversations with retailers about how this can be stopped in the future. I'll be surprised if they're not. As for retailers, I don't think the retailers probably care. At the end of the day, they're getting their money out of it. They can't probably sell it for a higher than recommended retail price. It's not like the retailer could scalp. Unless maybe that's the guys who set up the bots in the first place. No.
We've cracked the case.
I have, yeah.
It was an inside job the whole time.
I mean, can you guys think of a way that you can get around scalping? Is there something a retailer could do that is a more smarter way of being able to verify that person's identity to make sure that it's only one per customer?
Some kind of dystopian like credit check.
Send your passport.
A gaming quiz, like instead of a capture button to check your robot, you get one piece of Sony quiz history. Who is this guy? What is the best racing game on the Switch?
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
When it's Wipeout, then you get one.
Well, even if it's just an easy thing, right, where they had you had to enter an answer, something you could just go to Google and question, but you then entered that answer into the box, because the bot probably wouldn't be able to do that unless they could figure out Google. I don't know, send a bot to Google something. But I don't know if there's a way that you could ask a quiz question like that. You're right, and then
maybe just an opinionated answer, like, why are you buying this console? Something that can't be fished for and just automatically generated. If you actually have to put in the reason you were getting it, then you have to actually put some human thought into it.
Yeah.
A bot would just write yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember doing those Nintendo surveys from the stars that you'd get, and now and again they'll ask you for an opinion for the survey on the game. And they're really
non-applicable.
I literally just used to write NA or just like whatever, and because I do wonder if someone's sitting there reading my comments. Sometimes I would actually put my genuine feedback in there. I was kind of thinking, this is probably not getting anywhere.
It's me about having a cigarette, reading it.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I should have put more Pikmin in Pikmin.
Well, I'm surprised more scalpers haven't actually gone after something else, and that would be Animal Crossing. The game has sold like hotcakes. It's unreal. In Japan, and Japan only, this game has surpassed 6 million copies. That's literally second place to Pokemon Red and Green over there, which is blue over here. That's insane. You got to think how big Pokemon was as a craze back in the 90s, and to think that everything else that's happened since, that's the only game that's still riding top. But Animal Crossing, I would say, is probably going to top it in its lifetime. It's at 6 million now. The game's not even been out for a year. Insane. I think across the world was it 26 million. I think it's right behind Mario Kart. It'll probably overtake Mario Kart at Christmas. Is this a perfect gift for a casual gamer? Luke, are you a Animal Crossing fiend?
Day one when it came out, but I feel like I've had my fill. But I can certainly see that I think the current situation was the perfect time for Animal Crossing to come out. As bad as things have got this year, Nintendo were rubbing their hands when this happened. I think they knew that people were just going to escape onto their island and just fish and do nothing else.
Well, it's funny you said about having a fill. I mean, Sandy or Mike, we've got the winter update coming up, the season update. Does this bring you back into the game? Are you guys playing Animal Crossing?
I can take this if you want. I mean, when they launched the autumn updates, I think the second one was in November, earlier this month. It brought me back into the game. I mean, I've been on and off it the entire lockdown period, so I mean, it was fortunate timing, I think, for all this stuff. And I with the winter update, I'll definitely be diving back into my town to go and see all the snow and put people in pitfalls.
And
Definitely.
yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I'll definitely be dipping in again at some point, in and out. I will say, I do agree with Luke though. Like, I played it, fervently for when it first came out, and then it did drop off a ledge a little bit. And I've been trying to think about like what that is, that it didn't quite have the stick of other Animal Crossing games for me. I was wondering, like, is it? Sorry?
You pay your house off?
No, I don't think I have even.
So I paid my house off, and then I was like, you're not the boss of me anymore.
Yeah. I think there's like less items in it than any other Animal Crossing game before as well.
Certainly less Nintendo themed items.
And I keep wondering if that's the thing, because every time you go into the shop, you see the same things again, and you're just like, oh, well, that's why I've done the game now.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Are you guys going to continue to play it into 2021 and beyond? Do you think that if they keep doing these regular sort of seasonal updates and a few other things here and there, bring you back? Luke, you said you've already had your fill. Is there something that could
Nintendo items? Give me Nintendo themed items to put in my house. When I had my DS, I had a little Temple of Time in the back room, Master Sword, archways, little R-wing in the front room. That's all I need. Just fill it with Nintendo nostalgia, and I'll buy all of it again.
Nice. Sandy, anything to keep you rolling along?
Yeah, I mean, every time they introduce any kind of new collectibles and craftables, I'm always going to dip back in and have a little look at them. Especially now that the main tasks of the game are kind of done. It's nice to have a new focus.
And Mike, is there something else that you think they could do to change? Like online multiplayer, for example. I know that you can't really do much when you go into someone else's town. You can't interact as much. Do you think if they added some extra interaction into that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's always been a problem that there's no built-in voice chat as well with it, which is a well-trodden topic. But yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Really, because it does. I would love to see something different in there, but I don't know what that would be at all. Bring back
style deathmatch.
Yeah, PvP.
It'd be interesting. We don't really know what Nintendo's lineup is for next year, so there could be something that easily supplants this. I don't know what. In terms of at least our sort of gaming tastes, in terms of the general public, I think this is going to continue to go on. Do you guys think it'll be the number one Christmas seller for Nintendo at least? Not necessarily out of every game, but of all the games available on the Switch, is this number one?
Yeah,
Christmas.
definitely.
I would think so.
Yeah, it's got to sell, isn't it? It's going to have a attach rate to new consoles, and that is what I reckon.
I'll be surprised. Well, okay. Well, it's been a bit of a shorter show this week, but before we all disappear, let's just talk about what we've been playing for the last week or so. Let's start with you, Luke.
Tony Hawk.
You've booted it up and you're in.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Trying that next-gen console with Tony Hawk on it.
There's actually been an update to Tony Hawk in the last couple of weeks. Probably should just briefly talk about. That's included a few, I think, Crash Bandicoot items in terms of decks and stuff like that, and they've also added in the ability to play through story mode as any character. Now I know it seems quite strange. You could play the story mode through any character, but if you completed it with one character, basically you completed it with all of them. But now it allows you to do individual campaigns for each individual skater. So that's a nice little thing that they've added.
Somebody that isn't Rodney Mullen.
Yeah. I mean, I always go through Tony Hawk, and I think in the newer games I always used to play as Bam Margera, but he's not in the original, unfortunately. But I don't know. I would go back through the campaign with somebody else because it's short, but it's short because I know where things are.
Yeah.
But it's still fun and it's still enjoyable. Mike, what have you been playing?
The last couple of days, I've got a little bit obsessed with Ori and Will of the Wisps.
Oh, fantastic!
So, obviously, it's kind of talking about games of the year and stuff, and then I saw it at Game Pass. I'll give it a go, and I've just been obsessed with it for the last week. Pretty much, it's derailed my life because I just want to play Ori all the time. Now it's a wonderful game. Yeah.
Enhanced by X, Series S and Series S as well, Series X and Series S even. So be sure if anyone's got that out there to go and give that a whirl. I'll be doing a review of that sometime this week, hopefully. I've also been playing Ori as well, Mike. I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy the art style and the sort of freedom of it. It feels like a Nintendo game, and obviously you can play it on the Switch. But yeah, it's just a magical game, and anyone who's got Game Pass as well should definitely give that a whirl. Sandy?
I've actually been revisiting Gravity Rush on PS4, the remaster. Such a good series. I would really, really like to see a third game be announced for PS5, I think.
Oh, brilliant. Cool. Well, yeah, I've been playing Ori myself. I've been playing Dirt 5 as well. And a few other things, but I've just sort of been dawdling around. I've been playing a lot of FIFA. I can't believe it. I'm hooked into Ultimate Team and I can't seem to stop playing. I'm not spending any money though, honestly. But yeah, no, and COD. Got my PS5 seemingly working now, so COD has a bit of playtime in it as well. No issues yet. Touch wood, there was an update to it this week, wasn't there? Hopefully that's fixed a few things. Cool. Well, that's been another episode of Glass Door, episode 95. We are 5 away from the big 100. We're going to have to think of something big, guys, to go all out. But for now, you guys can be caught on social media. Mike, what's your handle?
I am movement _matter, no E.
Fantastic. And Luke?
At Lem207.
And Sandy?
I'm at Squidgy Buffalo.
And I'm at Flynn Neal. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining. We really appreciate everybody who watches and joins along. Feel free to drop a comment, a like, or a subscribe. Always head to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or cube3.com for all your latest gaming reviews, news, and everything else. But for now, guys, that's everything. See you later.
See ya.